Commander Zacathalax of the Vraxian Empire looked down at the blue planet called Earth. He stood on the bridge of his large warship. His skin was green and scaly, and his yellow eyes blinked as he studied the planet. "We have watched these humans for many years," he said to his crew. "Now we will meet them face to face." Lieutenant Vrex nodded. She was smaller than the commander, but just as fierce. Her forearms were covered in a light armor that clicked when she moved. "Our leaders want to know if humans are a threat," she said. "They think humans have powerful weapons." "Yes," said Zacathalax, "and they keep beasts for fighting. We must learn about these beasts." On Earth, Jack Miller was working on his farm in Montana. He was a man with short brown hair and strong hands from years of work. The morning sun was warm on his face as he fixed his old tractor. His golden dog Buddy played nearby in the grass. Jack had been in the army years ago. He knew how to build and fix many things. Now he lived a quiet life on his small farm with just his dog for company. Suddenly Buddy began to bark at the sky. His tail wagged fast as he looked up. "What is it, boy?" Jack asked. He put down his tools and looked up too. In the sky, something bright and metal was coming down. It was not a plane or a helicopter. It was round and smooth, like nothing Jack had ever seen before. "That's not normal," Jack said. He stood very still as the strange object got closer. The object landed in Jack's wheat field with a soft hum. It was a small ship, about the size of a truck. Steam came from under it as it cooled. Buddy barked more, but his tail still wagged. He was not scared, just excited. A door opened on the side of the ship. 3 tall beings stepped out. They looked like very large insects standing on 2 legs. Their skin was green and hard-looking. They had big eyes that seemed to see everything at once. The beings held strange tools in their hands. Jack thought the tools might be weapons. "Stay, Buddy," Jack said quietly. The dog sat down but kept watching the strange visitors. The tallest being stepped forward. It made some clicking sounds, and then, to Jack's surprise, it spoke in English. "Human, we have come to study your planet," it said. "You will show us your weapons and your war beasts." Jack blinked in surprise. "War beasts? I don't have any war beasts." "Do not lie," the being said. Its voice was flat but clear. "Our studies show that humans keep dangerous animals for fighting. Show us these beasts." Before Jack could answer, Buddy got up and trotted toward the aliens. His tongue hung out and he looked happy to meet new friends. The aliens stepped back quickly. They raised their tools, pointing them at Buddy. "Control your beast," the tall one shouted. "It is attacking." Jack had to stop himself from laughing. "He's not attacking, he's saying hello. This is Buddy, my dog, he's friendly." The aliens looked at each other. They seemed confused. "This is a war beast?" one asked. "It is smaller than we expected." "He's not a war beast," Jack explained. "He's a pet. A friend." "Friend?" The word seemed to confuse the aliens even more. "You make friends with predators?" Jack nodded. "Dogs have lived with humans for thousands of years. They help us hunt, protect our homes, and keep us company." The alien leader looked at Buddy, who sat down and wagged his tail. The alien made a sound like thinking. "You will come with us," the alien finally said. "You and your befriend. Our commander must see this." Jack thought about running, but where would he go? And he was curious. Real aliens had come to Earth. This was history happening right in his yard. "All right," he said, "but Buddy comes too, and you don't hurt him." "We will not harm the beast if it does not attack," the alien agreed. Jack whistled to Buddy, who came to his side. Together they walked toward the alien ship. Inside it was cool and smelled like nothing Jack had ever smelled before, kind of like the ocean mixed with metal. The ship lifted off so smoothly that Jack barely felt it move. Through a small window, he watched his farm get smaller and smaller, until it was just a tiny dot on the ground. "My name is Jack," he said to the aliens as they flew. "What are you called?" "I am Scout Leader Clovex," the tallest one replied. "We are Vraxians." "Nice to meet you," Jack said, trying to be polite, even though this was the strangest day of his life. "Where are we going?" "To our main ship," Clovex said. Commander Zacathalax wishes to learn about humans before we make full contact with your leaders. Jack nodded and patted Buddy's head. The dog seemed to be enjoying the adventure. He wasn't scared at all. Soon, a huge ship came into view. It was as big as a city, dark and powerful against the blackness of space. Jack felt very small looking at it. The small ship landed inside the big one with a gentle bump. When the door opened, more Vraxians were waiting. They all stepped back when they saw Buddy. "The beast is not restrained," one of them said in alarm. "He doesn't need to be," Jack explained again. "He's friendly and well-trained." A path cleared and a large Vraxian stepped forward. He wore special armor that shined under the lights. This had to be Commander Zacathalax. "Human," the commander said, looking down at Jack. "I am told you bring a war beast that does not fight. Explain this." Jack sighed. This was going to be a long day. "Sir, this is a dog. His name is Buddy. He's a companion animal, not a war beast." "Show me what it can do," Zacathalax demanded. Jack looked at Buddy and smiled. "Buddy, sit." Buddy sat. "Shake," Jack said, holding out his hand. Buddy lifted his paw and put it in Jack's hand. "Lie down." Buddy lay down on the floor. "Roll over." Buddy rolled over. The Vraxians watched in silence. They seemed amazed by how well Buddy listened to Jack. "How do you control it without force?" Zacathalax finally asked. "With friendship and trust," Jack said. "And treats." He pulled a small dog treat from his pocket and gave it to Buddy, who ate it happily. "I have much to learn about humans," Zacathalax said. "Perhaps you are not what we expected at all." Jack stood on the bridge of the alien ship. All around him, Vraxians worked at strange machines. Lights blinked and screens showed pictures of Earth. Buddy sat by Jack's feet, calm and happy. Commander Zacathalax watched the dog with his large, yellow eyes. "This animal came from wolves, you say? Wolves are wild hunters, are they not?" "Yes," Jack said. "People took in wolf pups thousands of years ago. Over time, they became dogs. They helped us hunt and guard our homes. Now most dogs are just pets." "Pets," the commander said the word like it was new to him. "Animals you keep for friendship?" "Exactly," Jack said. "Buddy is my friend." Lieutenant Vrex stepped closer to look at Buddy. "May I touch it?" Jack nodded. "Sure, hold out your hand first so he can sniff you." Vrex reached out one of her 4 hands. Buddy sniffed it, then licked her scaly skin. Vrex pulled back quickly. "It attacked me with its tongue," she said. Jack laughed. "No, that's a dog kiss. It means he likes you." Vrex looked confused but reached out again. This time, when Buddy licked her, she did not pull back. "The sensation is strange. On our world," Zacathalax explained, "predators and prey do not mix. Predators hunt. Prey runs or hides. That is the way of nature." "It's like that on Earth too in the wild," Jack said. "But humans changed that pattern. We made friends with some animals and raised others for food. The aliens found this very interesting. They asked many questions about Earth's animals and how humans lived with them." While they talked, more Vraxian ships landed on Earth. They touched down in fields and empty places, trying not to scare humans. But people saw them anyway. Soon news of the aliens spread all over the world. At a farm not far from Jack's, another scout ship landed. A woman named Susan Reeves was there. She was a scientist who studied animals. She had been visiting her parents' farm when the aliens came. The Vraxians were confused when they met Susan's 3 cats. The cats did not listen to commands like Buddy did. They did what they wanted. "These beasts do not obey you," a Vraxian said to Susan, "yet you keep them in your dwelling." "Cats aren't like dogs," Susan explained. "They're more independent, but they still care about people in their own way." The Vraxians took Susan to the main ship too. When she arrived, she was happy to see another human. "You must be the dog owner they told me about," she said to Jack. "I'm Susan. I have cats." "Jack," he said, shaking her hand, "and this is Buddy." Susan smiled at the dog. "Hello, Buddy." Zacathalax watched this meeting with interest. "You two do not know each other, yet you are friendly." Humans are very social. Most of us are, Susan agreed. Just like most Vraxians seem to work well together. We come from hive creatures, Zacathalax explained. Long ago, our kind lived in groups with one queen, like your earth ants or bees. We have evolved, but working together is still in our nature. Over the next few days, more humans came to the ship. Some brought pets, dogs, cats, birds, even a rabbit. The Vraxians studied, them all with great interest. Jack and Susan became teachers explaining Earth customs to the aliens. They told them about farms, cities, countries, and the many ways people lived on Earth. Your world has so much variety, Vrex said one day. Our home planet is mostly the same everywhere. Same plants, same weather, same buildings. Earth has deserts, mountains, oceans, jungles, Susan said, and people live in all those places. The Vraxians had never seen oceans before. Their world was mostly land. They were very interested in Earth's water. Jack showed them pictures of his time in the Navy, sailing on big ships. The aliens were amazed by the vast blue oceans. Water, Zacathalax said. So much water. He sounded almost afraid. As days passed, Jack, Susan, and the other humans became more comfortable on the alien ship. The Vraxians gave them nice rooms to sleep in and good food to eat. They even found food for the pets. One day, Zacathalax called Jack and Susan to the bridge. His face looked serious. I have news, he said. Our leaders are sending more ships. They want to meet Earth's leaders and make official contact. That's good, right? Jack asked. Zacathalax made a clicking sound that Jack had learned meant worry. The ship coming is led by Admiral Kukavorak. He is not like me. He believes in strength and power. He may not understand your relationship with animals as I have come to. Susan frowned. What does that mean for Earth? It means, Zacathalax said, that I must convince him humans are peaceful. If he thinks your pets are weapons, he may see Earth as a threat. But dogs and cats aren't weapons, Jack said. They're companions. I know this now, Zacathalax said, but the Admiral has not spent time with humans as I have. He only knows what our old reports say, that Earth has many predator species and humans control some of them. Jack thought for a moment. What if we show him? Bring him to Earth? Let him see how people and animals live together. It is not so simple, Vrex said. The Admiral rarely leaves his ship. He sends others to do his work. Then we bring the show to him, Susan suggested. A demonstration of the bond between humans and animals. Zacathalax considered this. It might work. The Admiral respects displays of skill and control. They began to plan. Jack called friends who trained dogs for shows and competitions. Susan contacted zoos and animal experts. They would put on a show to prove to the Admiral that Earth's animals were not weapons but friends. Meanwhile, more Vraxian ships appeared in Earth's skies. People were scared at first, but when they saw the aliens were not attacking, they grew curious. Some humans welcomed the visitors. Others were still afraid. Earth's leaders tried to talk to the Vraxians. They set up meetings and sent messages. But the aliens would only talk to Zacathalax, who was now acting as a bridge between the two species. 10 days after the first landing, Admiral Kukavorak's ship arrived. It was 3 times bigger than Zacathalax's ship, and much more frightening to look at. It was dark and covered in what looked like weapons. The Admiral will meet with you tomorrow, Zacathalax told Jack and Susan. Your demonstration must be ready by then. That night, Jack couldn't sleep. He sat on the floor of his room with Buddy, petting the dog's soft fur. Tomorrow's a big day, Buddy, he said. We need to show these aliens that you're not a weapon. You're a friend. Buddy wagged his tail and licked Jack's hand. He didn't know about aliens or admirals or the fate of Earth. He just knew he loved Jack and would do anything for him. And maybe, Jack thought, that was exactly what they needed to show. The day of the big meeting came. Jack woke up early in his room on the Vraxian ship. Buddy was already awake, watching Jack with bright eyes. Today's the day, boy, Jack said as he got dressed. Today we show the Admiral that dogs are friends, not weapons. There was a knock on his door. It was Susan. Are you ready? She asked. The dog trainers arrived last night. They're setting up now. Jack nodded. As ready as I'll ever be. Where's the demonstration happening? In a big field near where you live, actually, Susan said. The commander thought it would be good to show the Admiral real Earth settings, not just cities. They went to the ship's dining area for breakfast. Several other humans were there too. There was Mary with her border collie, Pete with his German shepherd, and Lisa with her 3 small poodles. All of them were expert dog trainers. I still can't believe we're on an alien ship, Pete said as they ate, and that the fate of Earth might depend on our dogs. Just think of it as a really important dog show, Mary said. Her border collie, Max, sat perfectly at her feet, watching everyone. Commander Zakathalax entered the room. The humans had gotten used to how he looked now, the green scaly skin, the forearms, the large eyes. He wasn't scary anymore, just different. The Admiral's ship has entered Earth's atmosphere, Zakathalax said. He will meet us at the demonstration field in 2 hours. What's so he like? Jack asked. This Admiral? Zakathalax made a clicking sound. He is old and set in his ways. He has fought in many conflicts and believes strength is the only language that matters. But he will follow our laws. If we can show him humans are not a threat, he will not harm your world. This wasn't very comforting, but it was better than nothing. 2 hours later, they all stood in a large field in Montana. A stage had been set up with obstacles and props for the dogs to use. Hundreds of local people had come to watch. They stood behind fences, pointing at the aliens and taking pictures with their phones. Admiral Kukavorak arrived in a small ship that landed near the stage. He was larger than Zakathalax, with darker skin and red markings on his arms. His eyes were cold as he looked at the humans and their dogs. Commander, the Admiral said to Zakathalax, explain this gathering. Admiral, these humans wish to show you the true nature of their relationship with Earth's creatures, Zakathalax said. I believe it will change how you see their species. The Admiral made a sound like a grunt. Very well, I will observe. Jack stepped forward. Admiral, my name is Jack Miller. On behalf of Earth, welcome to our planet. The Admiral looked at Jack like he was a bug. Begin your demonstration, human. Jack nodded to Susan, who stepped onto the stage with a microphone. Ladies and gentlemen, and our visitors from the stars, she said, today we will show the many ways dogs and humans work together as friends and partners. The show began. Mary and Max went first, showing how border collies could herd sheep with amazing skill. The sheep moved exactly where Mary wanted them to go, with Max running around them in perfect patterns. The small beast controls the larger ones, Admiral Kukavorak observed. Impressive. Next, Pete and his German shepherd Rex demonstrated search and rescue. Rex found a person hiding in a pile of rubble by smell alone. Then he led Pete back to the person. On your world, Jack explained to the Admiral, do predators help each other find food? No, the Admiral said. They compete and fight. On Earth, wolves hunt together, Jack said. Dogs kept that pack instinct when we domesticated them. They see humans as part of their pack. We help each other. The Admiral watched with more interest now. Lisa and her poodles performed next, doing tricks and dancing to music. The small dogs jumped through hoops, walked on their back legs, and spun in circles. This is not useful, the Admiral said. Why train beasts to do such things? For fun, Susan explained. For the joy of working together. The dogs enjoy learning and performing as much as we enjoy watching them. This concept seemed to confuse the Admiral even more. Next came demonstrations of guide dogs helping blind people, dogs that could detect diseases by smell, and dogs that helped people with special needs. These animals serve many purposes for humans, Zakathalax said to the Admiral, but not as weapons, as helpers and friends. Finally, it was Jack and Buddy's turn. They walked to the center of the stage. Buddy is just a normal pet dog, Jack said to the crowd and the aliens. He doesn't do fancy tricks or important jobs. He's just my friend, but that friendship is special. Jack had Buddy do some simple commands: sit, stay, Come. Then he showed how Buddy would bring him things when asked, and how the dog would stay by his side without a leash. Now I want to show you something important, Jack said. He turned to Admiral Kukavorak. On your world, I bet predators would never do this. Jack laid down on the ground and closed his eyes. He put his throat back, exposed and vulnerable. He gave Buddy a hand signal. The golden dog walked over and laid down next to Jack, putting his head on Jack's chest. Man and dog stayed that way for a full minute. When Jack sat up again, he looked at the Admiral. A wild predator would have attacked me when I was vulnerable, but Buddy protected me instead. That's trust. That's friendship. Admiral Kukavorak was silent for a long time. Then, he turned to Commander Zekthalax. I have never seen such a relationship between species, he said. On our world, the strong prey on the weak. It is the way of nature. Humans have found a different way, Zekthalax said. They work with nature, not just against it. The Admiral watched as all the dogs and trainers came back on stage for a final bow. The crowd of humans cheered and clapped. These humans are strange, the Admiral finally said, but perhaps not dangerous in the way we feared. Jack felt hope rise in his chest. Maybe this would work after all. After the show, the humans and aliens gathered in a large tent for food and drinks. The Admiral asked many questions about Earth, its animals and its people. You said dogs came from wolves, he said to Jack. How did humans make this change happen? It took thousands of years, Jack explained. We think wolves first came to human camps for food scraps. The friendlier ones got more food and stayed around. Over time, they changed. They became more playful, more social, more like puppies even. When they grew up, you changed their nature, the Admiral said. We helped them change, Susan corrected. But they also changed us. Humans with dogs could hunt better and stay safer. We evolved together. This idea seemed to interest the Admiral greatly. Coevolution, he said. On my world, species only evolve to fight each other better. Predators get faster, prey get better at hiding. An endless race. Earth has that too, Susan said. But some species found it better to work together, like bees and flowers or humans and dogs. As they talked, Buddy made friends with more of the Vraxians. He went from alien to alien, letting them pet him and giving them dog kisses. Even some of the Admiral's stern guards seemed charmed by him. Your beast, dog, is very social, the Admiral said to Jack. Golden retrievers are like that, Jack said with a smile. They never met a stranger they didn't like. That evening, Commander Zekthalax found Jack sitting outside the tent, looking at the stars. Buddy was asleep at his feet. The Admiral has made his decision, Zekthalax said. He will report to our leaders that Earth is not a military threat. He will recommend peaceful contact instead of study or control. Jack let out a breath he felt like he'd been holding all day. That's good news. Yes, Zekthalax agreed. But there is more. The Admiral was so impressed by your demonstration that he wants to learn more about Earth's animals. He has asked that some humans come to our world as teachers. Jack looked surprised. Your world? To teach about dogs and cats and such? Yes. Our people have never considered that predators could be partners. It is a new idea for us, and a powerful one. Jack looked down at Buddy, sleeping peacefully. I'd have to bring him with me. Of course, Zekthalax said. He is your friend. We would not separate you. Jack smiled. When he joined the Navy years ago, he had hoped to see the world. Now he might get to see another world entirely. I'll think about it, he promised. 3 days after the demonstration, Jack, Susan, and their animal friends were still on the Vraxian ship. Admiral Kukavorak had left Earth to report to his leaders, but he promised to return soon with news. Life on the alien ship had become almost normal for the humans. They had their own rooms, good food, and places to exercise their dogs. The Vraxians were friendly and eager to learn about Earth. Jack was in the ship's viewing room with Buddy when Susan found him. The viewing room had big windows that looked out at Earth and space. Jack liked to sit there and look at the stars. There you are, Susan said. Commander Zacathalax is looking for you. There's news from the Admiral's ship. Jack stood up. Good news or bad news? Not sure, Susan said. The commander looked worried. They hurried to the bridge of the ship. Zacathalax was standing in front of a large screen. On the screen was another, Vraxian with very dark green skin and many red markings. Ah, the humans are here, Zacathalax said when he saw Jack and Susan. Supreme Leader, may I present Jack Miller and Susan Reeves, representatives of Earth. The Vraxian on the screen looked at them with cold eyes. So these are the humans who tame predators. Yes, Supreme Leader, Zacathalax said. They have been most helpful in teaching us about Earth's customs. I have received Admiral Kukavorak's report, the Supreme Leader said. It is unusual. He claims that humans have a special bond with many Earth species, including predators. He recommends peaceful contact. That is my recommendation as well, Zacathalax said. The Supreme Leader made a clicking sound. The Admiral also claims that humans have changed some predator species to make them friendly. Is this true? Jack stepped forward. We call it domestication. Over thousands of years, we selected the friendliest wolves to breed. They changed over time to become dogs. You control their evolution, the Supreme Leader said. This didn't sound like a question. In a way, Susan said. But it was a partnership. Dogs helped humans hunt and protected our homes. We gave them food and shelter. Both species benefited. The Supreme Leader was quiet for a moment. This is a powerful ability, to change other species to serve you. It makes us concerned. Jack felt a chill. This wasn't going well. Supreme Leader, Zacathalax said. Humans do not see it as service but as friendship. The demonstration showed. I have seen the demonstration, the Supreme Leader cut in. It was impressive, a display of control over many species. This is why the Council has concerns. What concerns? Jack asked. The Supreme Leader's eyes fixed on him. If humans can change wild predators into allies, what might they do to other species? To us, perhaps, in time? We would never, Jack started, but the Supreme Leader kept talking. The Council has decided. Earth must be studied more closely. Before full contact can begin, we will send scientists to learn about all Earth species and how humans control them. And if Earth's leaders don't agree to this study? Susan asked. The Supreme Leader's voice grew cold. Then we must assume humans have something to hide. Something dangerous. The screen went black. The Supreme Leader was gone. Commander Zacathalax made a low clicking sound that Jack had learned meant sadness or worry. I am sorry, he said to Jack and Susan. The Supreme Council fears what it does not understand. They see your bond with animals as a kind of control or power. What happens now? Jack asked. The Council will send many ships to study Earth, with or without your leader's permission, Zacathalax said. They will want to see your animals, your farms, your laboratories. They will want to understand how you changed wolves into dogs. And, if we say no? Susan asked. They will take what they want to study, Zacathalax said simply. They will not harm humans if they can avoid it, but they will not ask permission. Jack sat down heavily in a chair. Buddy sensed his mood and came to, put his head on Jack's knee. So we're going to be invaded because we're nice to dogs, Jack said. That's just great. Not invaded, Zacathalax corrected. Studied. But yes, the Council fears your ability to change other species. On our world, species remain separate. Predators and prey never mix. The idea that you could turn enemies into friends seems like powerful magic to them. Susan paced the room, thinking. We need to change how they see this. They think domestication is about control and power. We need to show them it's about mutual benefit and evolution. How? Jack asked. The Admiral seemed to understand, but the Supreme Leader doesn't want to. We need more evidence, Susan said. She turned to Zacathalax. Commander, does your ship have scientists who study biology? Of course, Zacathalax said. We have a full science team. Good. I'm going to need their help, and I'll need to contact some colleagues on Earth. Over the next 2 days, Susan worked with the Vraxian scientists. They studied the DNA of dogs and wolves, looking at the changes that had happened over thousands of years. They also looked at cats, horses, and other domesticated animals. Jack helped by showing how dogs and humans work together. He had Buddy demonstrate how he could find things by smell, how he could learn new commands, and how he understood many human words. The important thing, Jack told the Vraxian scientists, is that Buddy wants to help me. I don't force him. He gets happy when he does a good job because he likes making me happy. The Vraxians found this hard to understand at first. On their world, animals only did things out of fear or hunger. On the third day, Susan called everyone to the science lab. Earth's leaders had been talking with the Vraxians, trying to avoid the study the Supreme Council wanted to do. So far, they had only managed to delay it. I think I've found something that might help, Susan said. She showed them a screen with pictures of DNA. This is wolf DNA and this is dog DNA. See these differences? These are changes in genes that affect things like fear, friendliness, and understanding human gestures. The Vraxian scientists looked closely at the screen. But here's the interesting part, Susan continued. She showed new pictures. This is ancient human DNA, from before we started living with dogs, and this is modern human DNA. There are similar changes here, genes that affect how we bond with others, how we communicate, how we work in groups. What does this mean? Zikathalax asked. It means humans changed too, Susan said. We evolved, together with dogs. It wasn't just us changing them. They changed us too. Jack looked surprised. Dogs changed humans? Yes, Susan said. Humans who could work better with dogs had an advantage. They could hunt better, protect their families better. Those humans had more children who survived. Over time, humans became better at bonding with other species. The Vraxian scientists were making excited clicking sounds now. Co-evolution, one said. Two species changing together. Not control, another added. Partnership. Exactly, Susan said. And look at this. She showed brain scans on the screen. When humans interact with dogs they love, their brains release oxytocin, a bonding chemical. The same happens in the dog's brains. The same chemical that helps human mothers bond with their babies helps humans and dogs bond with each other. Commander, Zikathalax looked at the evidence for a long time. This could change how the Supreme Council sees humans, he finally said. Not as controllers of other species, but as partners with them. We need to show them, Jack said, not just tell them. Yes, Susan agreed, and I have an idea how. The next day, more humans came up to the ship. There was Danny, who worked with police dogs, Maria, who trained service dogs for people with disabilities, and old Ben, who had lived with wolves for 20 years and studied how they lived in packs. They brought their animals and equipment. They set up cameras and testing areas in the ship's large cargo bay. What we're going to do, Susan explained to Commander Zakathalax, is create a video message for your Supreme Council. We'll show the science of how humans and dogs evolved together. We'll demonstrate the bond between us, and we'll explain why it's about partnership, not control. Will they believe it? Jack asked. Science is respected among my people, Zikathalax said. If the evidence is clear, they must consider it. For 2 days they worked on their presentation. They filmed dogs and humans working together. They showed the brain scans and DNA evidence. Old Ben told stories about wolf packs and how dogs kept. 6 months had passed since the Vraxians first came to Earth. Life had changed in many ways, but in other ways it stayed the same. Jack still lived on his farm in Montana with Buddy. He still fixed his tractor and tended his fields. But now, he also worked as a guide for Vraxian visitors. Today, Jack was expecting a special guest. The Supreme Leader himself was coming to Earth for the first time. After months of peaceful exchange between the two worlds, the leader wanted to see this strange planet for himself. How do I look, Buddy? Jack asked as he put on a clean shirt. Buddy wagged his tail in approval. Commander Zakathalax, now Ambassador Zakathalax, had asked Jack to be part of the welcoming group. Jack's bond with Buddy had helped change how the Vraxians saw humans. Now that bond would be on display for their highest leader. Jack drove to the landing site, a large field that had been prepared for the Supreme Leader's ship. Many important humans were there. The president, ambassadors, scientists, and leaders from around the world. Susan was there too, now the head of a new research team studying how humans and animals could work together even better. Nervous, Susan asked when she saw Jack. A little, Jack admitted. Never met a Supreme Leader before. Just be yourself, Susan said. That's what got us here in the first place. The sky darkened as a huge ship moved over the field. It was 3 times larger than Zykathalax's ship had been, with gleaming metal that caught the sunlight. It landed with a soft hum, barely disturbing the grass beneath it. A ramp extended from the ship. Ambassador Zykathalax stepped forward, his ceremonial armor shining. The human leaders stood beside him, ready to greet their visitor. The Supreme Leader emerged from the ship. He was taller than any Vraxian Jack had seen before, with deep green skin and red markings that covered most of his body. 4 guards walked with him, their weapons more ceremonial than threatening. The human president stepped forward. Supreme Leader, on behalf of the people of Earth, welcome to our world. The Supreme Leader made a gesture with his 4 arms that Jack had learned was a sign of respect. Earth has been most patient with our curiosity. I am pleased to see it with my own eyes at last. The formal greetings continued, with speeches from both sides about friendship and understanding between worlds. Jack stood to the side with Buddy, waiting for their turn. Finally, Ambassador Zykathalax turned to Jack. Supreme Leader, may I present Jack Miller and his companion Buddy. They were among the first humans we met on Earth. Jack stepped forward, Buddy walking calmly beside him. It's an honor to meet you, Supreme Leader. The Supreme Leader's large eyes studied Jack, then moved to Buddy. This is the famous dog I have heard so much about? The one who changed how we see your species? One of many dogs on Earth, Jack said modestly. But yes, Buddy here helped show Ambassador Zykathalax, that humans and animals can be friends, not just masters and servants. The Supreme Leader reached down with one of his lower arms. May I touch it? Of course, Jack said. Buddy, say hello. Buddy sniffed the Supreme Leader's hand, then gave it a gentle lick. The leader pulled back slightly in surprise, then reached out again. Its skin is so soft, he said, touching Buddy's golden fur. And warm. He likes being petted, Jack said. Try scratching behind his ears. The Supreme Leader did as suggested. Buddy's tail wagged faster and he leaned into the alien's touch. It shows pleasure, the leader observed, but no fear even though I am a stranger. Dogs are good at reading intentions, Jack explained. Buddy can tell you're not a threat. The formal meeting turned into a tour of Earth's major cities and natural wonders. The Supreme Leader wanted to see everything, oceans, mountains, deserts, and especially places where humans and animals lived together. They visited farms where people worked with horses and cattle. They went to wildlife reserves where scientists studied wild animals. They even went to the Antarctic to see how humans adapted to the coldest parts of Earth. Everywhere they went, the Supreme Leader asked questions. How did this animal help humans? Why did humans protect that animal? What did each species gain from working together? A week into the tour, they visited a special training center for service dogs. People with many different needs were there, showing how their dogs helped them live better lives. A woman named Lisa demonstrated how her dog could sense when her blood sugar was dropping and alert her before she felt sick. A man named Greg showed how his dog helped him walk even though he couldn't see. A boy named Andy explained how his dog helped him when he felt overwhelmed by sounds and lights. The Supreme Leader watched it all with great interest. These dogs do so much for humans who need help, he said, and they seem happy to do it. They are, Jack said. Dogs evolved to work with humans. It's in their nature to want to help us, just as it's in our nature to care for them. That evening, the tour group stayed at a mountain lodge. After dinner, Jack found the Supreme Leader standing on a balcony looking at the stars. May I join you? Jack asked. Please do, the leader said. Buddy followed Jack onto the balcony and sat between. Them. Your world is very beautiful, the Supreme Leader said after a moment. So much water, so many different landscapes, so many different animals living together. It's not perfect, Jack said. We have problems too. Wars, pollution, species dying out. But we're trying to do better. On my world, the Supreme Leader said, species never help each other. They only compete. For food, for territory, for life itself. We Vraxians succeeded because we worked together, but only with our own kind. Jack nodded. Earth was like that, once too long ago. But humans found a different path. We learned that sometimes cooperation works better than competition. The Supreme Leader was quiet for a moment. When we first discovered Earth, some of our scientists feared you. They said humans were dangerous because you could make other species serve you. We thought this power came from control and dominance. But now? Jack asked. Now I see it comes from understanding and mutual benefit. You did not force dogs to help you. You offered them food and safety, and they offered you their strength and senses. Both gained more than either could have alone. Jack smiled. That's exactly right. The Supreme Leader looked down at Buddy, who had fallen asleep at their feet. I wonder if Vraxians could ever have such friends. Are we too set in our ways to learn what humans know? It's never too late to try something new, Jack said. That's another thing humans have learned. The next day was the last of the Supreme Leader's tour. They went to a large public park where humans had arranged a special event. Hundreds of people had brought their pets, dogs, cats, birds, even a few horses and goats. They all gathered to show the Vraxians the many ways humans and animals lived. Together on Earth, children played with puppies. Old people sat with cats in their laps. A man on horseback showed how he and his horse worked as one. Birds flew free but returned to their human friends when called. The Supreme Leader walked through the gathering, stopping often to ask questions or touch an animal. The Vraxian scientists who had been studying Earth took notes and made recordings. This was the largest collection of human-animal partnerships they had ever seen in one place. At the end of the day, the Supreme Leader stood before the crowd of humans and Vraxians. His voice carried across the park as he spoke. People of Earth, I thank you for your welcome and your patience. When we first came to your world, we did not understand you. We saw your relationships with other species as strange and perhaps threatening. We feared what we did not understand. The crowd was quiet, listening carefully. But now we see that humans have learned something Vraxians never discovered. You have learned that different kinds of beings can help each other, that the strong need not only take from the weak, but can protect them, that the clever need not trick the simple, but can teach them. The Supreme Leader made a gesture with all four arms, a sign of deep respect that made the Vraxian scientist murmur in surprise. This knowledge is precious. My people wish to learn from yours if you are willing to teach us. Perhaps one day Vraxians too will have friends of other species. A cheer went up from the crowd. Children waved, dogs barked, and birds flew in, circles overhead. Ambassador Zakathalak stepped forward. Supreme Leader, the humans have a gift for you, a symbol of the friendship between our worlds. A young girl came forward, holding a small animal carrier. She opened it and a tiny kitten with orange fur stepped out, looking around with curious eyes. This is a cat, Ambassador Zakathalak explained. Another animal humans have befriended, smaller and more independent than dogs, but still a companion. The humans thought it might be a good first step for Vraxians who wish to learn about animal partnerships. The Supreme Leader looked at the tiny kitten with wonder. It is not afraid of me? Kittens are very brave, Jack said with a smile, and curious about everything. This one has been around Vraxians since birth, so your appearance is normal to her. Carefully, the Supreme Leader reached down. The kitten sniffed his scaly hand, then rubbed her head against it. A sound came from her throat, a deep, rumbling purr. What is it doing? The leader asked. That's purring, Jack explained. It means she's happy. Cats purr when they feel safe and content. Gently, the Supreme Leader picked up the kitten. She curled up in his large hands, still purring.